Hello writers, I'm so glad you joined. My name's Shele Banford, and today we're going to be talking about creating a long-term plan for ourselves and short-term goals. But before we do that, I want you to think about a time in your life where maybe there was something, a project you wanted to complete or something important to you that you were working on, and then life happened. So maybe the doorbell rang and a friend was at the door and needed something, or maybe you got a text, or maybe you were distracted by something a parent or a sibling asked for help with, and next thing you know, you get distracted and you never get your project completed. Has that ever happened to you? That happens to me all the time. And one thing I've found that helps is creating a plan for myself. So creating a long-term plan and then setting short-term goals each day. So we're going to think about how this might work for us as writers. So we're going to think about this idea of writers drafting long-term plans and setting short-term goals. So let me show you one way to think about that. So sometimes when I'm starting a writing project, I first think about when is it that I want to have my project completed, or when do I want to share this project with other people? And so I think in my head like how many weeks or in about how many days do I want it completely done? And then I start planning backwards. So let me show you how I do this in my notebook, and maybe you can give it a try too. So the first thing I do is that red line I just make darker. And then I make another line across the top, and I'll show you in just 1 second how this looks. And you can do it in a notebook if you're keeping all your writing in one place. You can do this just on any piece of paper you have lying around, also works. And then what I think about is how many days. So this project I'm currently about to start, I want to share in about 3 weeks. So I know if I'm thinking about school days, there's 5 days in every week. So that's about 15 days. So then all I'm going to do is kind of number my days down the side. So I'm going to do that work really quick. And this will give you a chance to get caught up and maybe make yourself a little timeline as well. I find it's helpful to skip lines to give myself some space to write what I'm going to do each day. So while you're finishing up yours, I'll give you a look at what mine looks like. And like I said, this is one way to help keep yourself on track. And you don't necessarily have to do it in a notebook. You can do it on any piece of paper you have lying around. So I know that down here on day 15, I'm going to circle it. That's when I want it ready to share. So knowing that, I have to think about myself as a writer. And I have to think about like day 1, starting today, what is it that I'm going to accomplish? And I need to think about setting a short-term goal. So thinking about myself as a writer, I know that I need a couple days to gather ideas. So I know day 1, one thing I'm going to do is gather ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and write that next to day 1. Gathering ideas. So maybe this looks like brainstorming a list of topics that I'm really passionate about. Maybe this is brainstorming some things that I know a lot about, or I might start thinking about genres that I love that maybe I want to try out writing. So I'm going to work on gathering ideas. Another thing that's helpful for me is setting a time goal. So I might work on this writing project on day 1. I'm going to say 20 minutes. And I'm going to see how it goes. Then, after I do this gathering ideas for 20 minutes, I can kind of check in with myself and see how I did. Did I meet my goal? Did I get what I set out to do accomplished? If so, fantastic. And if not, if things come up and you have to get yourself back on track, that's okay too. Then maybe you'll just move it down to day 2. So writers, hopefully this will help you stay on track and accomplish what you want to get accomplished. So one way is to kind of set a long-term plan. Think about when you want your project complete or when you want to share it with others. And then make yourself a timeline. And then each day, set yourself a short-term goal. Ask yourself, what is it as a writer that I want to accomplish? Think through how that might look and set yourself a time goal. All right, writers, thanks for tuning in. Take care.